So term one of year 12 is pretty much over now, and you may have messed it up. Be honest, did you mess it up? Did you fail some exams? Did you not do as well as you wanted to? Did you still cram? Did you still have those same bad habits that you said you would completely stop before term one even started? If that's the case, then watch this video from start to end, because it's a very, very important message that a lot of people will not even receive because they're just too emotionally damaged from term one. If you're new to the channel here, my name is Lukeman, and I went from being a complete failure of a student, getting D's, getting C's, to making the greatest academic comeback ever and achieving a 97 plus ATAR and becoming the Dux of my cohort. And on this channel, I help you do the same thing, because the truth is, everyone can make an academic comeback and everyone can achieve the ATAR they want. They just don't know how. But speaking of getting a high ATAR and making an academic comeback, term one of year 12 is kind of the first stepping stone to that. Term one of year 12 kind of dictates how you do in term two, how you do in term three, how you do in term four, and how you do in the final exam. It genuinely does. It's like a kind of starting point, and what you do from that starting point will determine what ATAR you get, how good you do, and whether you make that academic comeback or whether you stay on top. Okay, so what am I talking about? If you've just finished term one and you are not happy with your results, then you have to understand that you can do something about that. Because I've been getting a bunch of messages from students asking me the same question. Hey, Lukeman, can I still get a 95 plus ATAR, a 90 plus ATAR, an 85, whatever they're aiming for, if I failed this exam in term one? Hey, Lukeman, can I still achieve it if I'm rank 10 or rank 50 or rank whatever in term one? Hey, Lukeman, I done really bad this term. I had all these bad habits. I kept cramming. I done all these bad things. Can I still do well? What is the short answer? Yes, but it does depend. If you change yourself and you genuinely sit down and you figure out why you did bad in term one, and then you fix it for term 2, 3, and 4, then yes, you still can get the ATAR you want. You can. Yes, you can still get any ATAR you want if you've done bad in term one. Okay, I promise you, you can. Now, who am I to say this? Well, I didn't do too well in term one too, okay? In term one, I remember I had a PDH exam, and I studied my absolute ass off for this exam. I mean, like, I was so ahead of the content. I studied 4 weeks before, I think 5 weeks before. I was doing past papers. I was killing it with practice. Anyway, I do the exam, I get the result back, and I got 15 out of 20. That's in my first year 12 exam. I got 15 out of 20. Now, is this 15 out of 20 like the good 15 out of 20, as if, I still ranked high? No. The average, I'm pretty sure from memory, was like 17, something around there. That was the average. And I got 15 out of 20. And everyone I spoke to, they had gotten higher than me. And was I screwed in the end? No. I actually figured out why I done wrong, and then I fixed it, and I still ended up doing well. Okay, so just to kind of backtrack there, I remember when I got that 15 out of 20, I was completely destroyed mentally. I was like, what the hell? I done all this studying, I done all these things, I fixed all my mistakes, and I still got 15 out of 20. But in that moment, I realized I had two choices. I could keep complaining about that result, keep getting upset, or I could just figure out what I did wrong and then fix myself. And that's what I did. I remember I sat down and I opened up a Google Doc. Okay. And in this Google Doc, I wrote down, actually it wasn't a Google Doc. I think I wrote it physically. Right? I took out a physical book, and I just listed out everything I did bad for that exam. Like, why and how in the world did I get 15 out of 20, right? So I wrote down all the bad mistakes I did, mistakes that was actually very embarrassing. Oh my goodness. The reason why I got 15 out of 20, by the way, if you're curious, is because on the day, I didn't know we had extra paper. So I had to cut down my writing. Even though I knew I could write more, I had to cut down my writing because I didn't know we had extra paper, and I was stupid enough to not ask it. And yeah, that's how I got 15 out of 20, because I simply didn't know we had more papers. Anyway, that's still a mistake on my part. So I remember writing down, okay, next time ask for more paper. Next time do this, blah, 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 blah. The next term 2 exam, I fixed myself, blah, 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 and I got better. Okay, I still didn't do it as good as I wanted to, but I got better. I went from rank 10 to rank 5. Okay, the next one, rank 5 to rank 3. And the next one, rank 3 to rank 2. And in the final HSC exam, I got 95 out of 100 at my PDHB exam. Yes, that's me having messed up term 1 of E12. Term 1, I got 15 out of 20. I did terrible in the class and the cohort. And what happened in the final exam? I got 95 out of 100. And then what happened in the final like final ATAR, I got 97 plus. Okay. I am a living example that you can still get the ATAR you want. Now, let's move on to how you won't get the ATAR you want. Okay. Because there's few groups of people here. There's the first group of people who, after messing term one, they just completely flop it and they just do terrible for the rest of the year. Then there's a second type of people who they do bad in term one, but because they've done bad in term one, that's why they do good in term 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. And obviously you want to strive to be the second group. But the question you want to ask is, what is the difference between the first group, which is the group who just do terrible because they did terrible in term one, and the second group who do better because they did bad in term one? The only difference is what's in your mind. That is the only difference between those two groups. Okay. Because in the second group of people who bounced back and done super, super good because of term one, they did not let themselves mentally destruct. That's the difference. Category one of people, the people who, because of term one, they just completely flopped the ATAR, they mentally destruct. They just give up. They let the mental burden of doing bad in term one affect themselves for term 2, 3, and 4. And the way they affect themselves is they block themselves the opportunity to fix themselves, right? They're just super sad. And then they start doing the bad habits again. Then they start doing playing more games and they start going out more. And then they don't start studying anymore. They just give up. They pretty much just give up, okay? And then that's how they end up doing bad. But the second group of people, the group of people who, the group I was in, who end up doing even better are the people who, yes, they are mentally, destroyed. Yes, they have emotions all over the place, but they let it settle and they realize and they tell themselves that, okay, why did I do bad? And then they figure out why they did bad. And then they fix it very, very diligently. They fix it for term 2. And then they erase term 1. Okay. They erase term 1. They don't let term 1 affect term 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Because if you've done bad in term 1 right now, do not forget you have term 2, term 3, term 4, and the final external exam. And then even on a more macro scale, do not forget that your ATAR consists of 50% internal, 50% external. Just because you messed up a percentage within the 50%, within the internal category of your ATAR, that doesn't mean you're screwed. Okay? So yes, you can still get it. But the way you are going to be screwed for the rest of the terms is if you don't figure out why you did bad. That's literally the only way. The only way you end up completely flunking the ATAR is if you are too arrogant to sit down and be like, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this? Okay? Because if you're going to sit there and just blame everyone and blame everything and be like, oh, it's because my teacher, it's because of this, blah, 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 you're not going to do well. And if you're going to sit there and give yourself the random and completely wrong delusion that, you know what, term 2, I'm just going to do better. How? I don't know. I'm just going to do better. I'm going to try harder. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So this video is getting pretty long now. I want to wrap it off by telling you the actual action step that I want you to take right now. Okay. Right now, I want you to take this action step that will allow you to improve for term 2, 3, and 4, and so that you can still get the ATAR you want. Okay. So what is the action step? Step number 1. I want you to give yourself a few days to mentally digest what's happened. Okay, it's normal. Yes, your emotions are all over the place right now. Yes, you're very mentally screwed. In other words, your mind just all over the place. You probably have all these doubts. Yes, that's completely fine. Give yourself a few days to just let it sink in. Okay. Now, after you've let that sink in, the second thing I want you to do, I want you to open up Google Doc and I want you to write down 2 things. Number 1, mistakes made in term 1, and I want you to write down all the mistakes you've made, all of them. Did you cram? Wake up too late? Did you not do as many practice questions? Did you hang out too much? It's completely personalized to you. I want you to write down every mistake you made, even the mistakes you made in the exam. For example, did you not define keywords? Did you not elaborate on key points? Did you not explain? Did not include examples? Like, this document should be comprehensive, okay? Now, once you've listed out all the mistakes, I want you then to make another heading called lessons learned. And underneath lessons learned, I want you to write the lessons that you've learned in term 1 and the things that you are going to do differently in term 2. It's that simple. So for example, if one of the mistakes you made in term 1 was poor time management, then the lesson might be that if you do not plan your week and if you do not schedule a routine each day, then you won't be able to manage your time. Therefore, the thing that you're going to do differently in term 2 is plan your week, make sure you have a schedule and use your calendar more. Random example. Okay. But the point is, you want to write down the mistakes you made and the lessons you've learned. Now, verbally, this is very easy to do. But I guarantee you, when you go to do this yourself, it's going to feel so bloody painful because you're just seeing how everything is your fault. But trust me, this is how you improve. They call it growing pains for a reason. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt, but please do it. Okay. And then once you do that in the holidays, during the holidays, really build yourself up and really make sure that you have systems in place to make sure that you do not make the same mistakes that you made in term 1. And that's how you improve in term 2. Okay. So that's a wrap up of this video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget there is a button to tell me that you enjoyed it, which is a like button. And be sure to subscribe too, because I'll be pumping out more content to help you guys achieve that ATAR you want and make an academic comeback. And yeah, but just short answer, yes, you can still get your ATAR you want. Stop throwing a pity party. Stop being like, oh, I'm screwed. No, you're not screwed. Don't be stupid. Okay? Tough love here. Don't be stupid. Yes, you still can do well. You have term 2, you have term 3, you have term 4, you have the final exams. Okay? Now, if you want the fast track to really making an academic comeback and kind of completely making a full 360, especially now that we're in holidays and especially now that this is your final year of school, then you might like the first link in the description. I do not mind if you click it or not, but the point is you can still do well. You can still get the ATAR you want. Get working, stop whining, start grinding. You get the idea. Okay? See you in the next video.